Okay, we're on page 108. It kind of backfired though, because after that, the workers started coming inside to use the bathroom. And when a line formed for the downstairs bathroom, the biggest guy on the construction crew headed upstairs to find another toilet. And that guy was carrying a magazine. So I get the feeling he wasn't heading up there to go number one. I wanted to try and stop him, so I pressed the test button on the smoke detector to set it off. Me, me, me. Oh my goodness. You see it all? Oh, goodness. The workers all got out of our house pretty quick, but they weren't the only ones who thought there was an actual emergency. Manny thought so too, and when the smoke detector went off, he threw all of his stuffed animals out his bedroom window, then hopped onto the pile. That was smart. Mom and Dad weren't happy with me for the smoke detector thing, but I don't think they were crazy about the workers using our bathrooms either. So this evening, Mom ordered one of those porta potties for the work site, and now everybody's happy. Friday. Yesterday, the construction crew poured concrete for the foundation, and today they started framing the addition. I thought it was pretty cool seeing how everything was coming together. Okay. Unfortunately, Dad noticed that I was interested in what was happening outside, and that put an idea in his head. Dad said this project was a good opportunity for me to learn from real professionals and to pick up skills I can use down the road. I wasn't really on board with that plan, though. Most of those construction workers look like they've got really rough hands from working with all that heavy equipment. But I use all sorts of lotions and creams to make my hands nice and soft. And I'd like to keep them that way because my hands are my best feature. And they show a girl touching them. She's like, "Ooh, so buttery." But that was exactly the wrong thing to tell my dad because it earned me a one-way ticket. Slam. Dad slammed the door, left him outside, got a one-way ticket to work. I don't know why Dad sent me out there and not Roderick. Manny actually wanted to go with me, but Dad told him he was too young to help, and Manny didn't take it that well. Dad told me I needed to find the person in charge and see how I could pitch in. So I asked around, and someone introduced me to the foreman, who was in his trailer. I guess the foreman was too busy to deal with some middle school kid, so he told me to go find a guy named Buddy and talk to him. Well, Buddy was pretty easy to find, especially since his name was tattooed on his forehead. Buddy was working with some guys on the framing, so I thought I'd start off by telling them who I was. But they weren't as impressed as I thought they should be. I'm the owner. Oh no, saying he's the owner of the house. I'm the big cheese. No, he's a kid. I told those guys I was out there to help them. So Buddy told me he had a really important job, which was to hold up a wall they had just framed. And I did. And I did feel pretty important for a while, at least until I realized the wall was holding itself up on its own. Once I understood it was a prank, I figured this is just the way construction workers joke around with one another. So I picked up a hammer and asked Buddy if I could nail some boards together or something. Buddy told me that would be great, but I was holding a left-handed hammer and I needed to go find a right-handed one. So I asked around the job site, and it took me a long time to realize that was a joke too. It hit me that since I was the youngest guy out here, the other workers didn't respect me. I figured they wanted me to quit, but I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. I decided I was going to prove myself by working hard and move up the ranks. And maybe within a week or two, I'd have guys like Buddy reporting to me. He's crazy. So I went around the construction site finding things I could do to help. I filled some buckets with water for the workers who were mixing concrete, and I moved a pile of gravel out of the way when a truck needed to get through. By the time we broke for lunch, I was feeling pretty good about myself, but I didn't want to kick back and relax because then these guys would think I was lazy. So when lunch got delivered, I went around the job site handing out everyone's orders, and that made me really popular. One guy named Luther was in the middle of mixing a batch of concrete, so I had to wait before I could hand him his meatball sub. And to be extra helpful, I unwrapped it for him so he'd be able to have it as soon as he was finished. But I wasn't being careful, and the meatballs slid out of the sub and into the bucket of wet concrete. Sloop, sloop. Luther didn't look like the kind of guy who'd be happy about a meatball sub with no meatballs in it, so I tossed the rest of the sub into the bucket and backed away. Oh my goodness. And I'm glad I got out of there when I did, too, because when Luther accused Buddy of stealing his meatball sub, things got ugly. I snuck back to the house, then locked the door behind me, and when Dad asked me why I wasn't still out there working, I told him I was retired. He started a mess out there, didn't he? Now there's a brawl out there, a fight, argument over the sandwich. Sunday, things were really moving along with the addition until our neighbors started complaining. Mr. LaRocca had an issue with the noise because he works the night shift at a hospital and needs to sleep during the day. So Mom's been asking the workers to try and keep it down, but that's not easy to do when you're dealing with hammers. Shh, she said. Our other next door neighbor, Mrs. Tuttle, isn't happy about the addition either. Apparently, one of the workers rolled a wheelbarrow into her property and trampled some of her flowers, and now she wants us to replace them. And it's not just our next door neighbors either. Mrs. Rotowski lives diagonally across the street, and I guess one of her cats got into our yard and stepped on a nail. So she told Dad he had to pay the vet bill. Oh my goodness. All this complaining is just slowing things down and making the project take longer. So the only person who's actually making any progress around here is Manny. He found a toy toolbox in the basement and he took some scrap wood out of the dumpster. I'm not exactly sure what he's building in the backyard, but it looks pretty impressive. The dumpster is definitely the best thing about this project. Whenever the trash can in my bedroom gets full, I just empty it into the dumpster, which is right outside my window. What's even better than that is how easy it is now when I have to put the trash out on Sunday night. It's my job to put trash stickers on all the bags, then take everything down to the curb. And that's a giant pain, especially when it rains. But with the dumpster, I don't even have to deal with the stickers. I can just chuck the bag straight in. Thump. Tonight I made a pretty stupid mistake, though. Uh-oh. I didn't feel like taking each trash bag out of the garbage can, so I tried to empty it into the dumpster all at once. It was heavy, so it's like, grr. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how heavy the trash can was, and I couldn't get it all the way up top of the dumpster. So the whole garbage can tipped backwards, and the trash emptied out of the bags. Ugh. So now there was garbage everywhere, and I had to scoop up all the trash back into the bags. Not fun. To make matters worse, it was a windy night, so the trash was blowing everywhere, and it wasn't a lot of fun trying to chase all that stuff down in the dark. I spent an hour picking trash out of Mr. LaRocca's bushes, but I should have remembered that he works the night shift and leaves at that time. Monday, I got to bed super late yesterday because I had to try and convince Mr. LaRocca that I wasn't toilet papering his bushes. I really wish I had gotten a good night's sleep, though, because we had a big test at school this morning, and I don't think I did my best. Okay, we're going to stop there. And we are on page 130. And I will see you soon, and we'll keep reading. Have a great day.